Welcome to my lymphedema journey. I am here with Kathleen Lisson, and today is the very last day of Lymphedema Awareness Month. And, surprise, Kathleen and I are talking about lymphedema today.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, something we never do.
No,
Um,
the new topic for us.
New topic for us. Kathleen, I'm so excited to actually get on a video. It's been a couple of months, so I'm glad to hang out with you,
Yes.
as always. So, um, it is Lymphedema Awareness Month, so we are kind of broadcasting this out to social media, not just to our lymphedema groups. So, I think maybe we should let people know what the heck lymphedema is, and then we should talk about it. So, should you tell us what lymphedema is?
Yes. And as someone, and it's great because we have the two main perspectives. We have someone who's studied lymphedema but does not have it. And then more importantly, we have the perspective of someone who has lymphedema and can tell you about the lived experience. So I can tell you what I've learned from books. I am a lymphedema therapist. I'm a board certified massage therapist. I help people after surgery. And I live in San Diego. I've been a lymphedema therapist for about 7 to 8 years. And lymphedema is a disorder of the lymphatic system. So in many different ways, if something's wrong with the lymphatic system and it results in swelling, inflammation, that is lymphedema. So the most common in America cause of lymphedema is actually venous in origin. So it's in the legs of people who have venous disease, and then they have lymphedema because of the venous disease. And second is after cancer surgery. So they will take the lymph nodes out. They'll do like the axillary dissection in the breast cancer, and then there'll be a resultant, or it could be because of chemotherapy. It could be because of radiation. It could be. It's also linked with a higher BMI. It's linked with hypertension. Any of those things increase the risk for lymphedema for someone who's in cancer treatment, cancer survivorship, and that will be in this same quadrant that the cancer was taken out. You will have swelling, whether it's in the hand and the arm, or more often in the breast and the torso area. And then there is also primary lymphedema, which is not really as well known as we need it to be, which is why we're here every day, Lymphedema Awareness Month, plugging away. It's genetic in origin. You can also have lymphedema from a trauma, like a physical trauma to the body, which impacts the body's lymphatic system. And then you have a resultant swelling because the lymphatic system takes all the waste products from each and every cell in your body and picks them up. It filters them through the lymph nodes, which has your immune system in it, your white blood cells, and then delivers it back to your general circulation. And then you urinate it out, and all the waste products are handled like by your liver.
So, just to sum that up in lay terms, your lymphatic system runs right underneath your skin throughout your whole body. It's the highway that moves all the waste. It moves your white blood cells where they need to be. It is the biggest part of your immune system. Doctors spend an average doctor. I may be wrong on this. This was facts I've known for a couple of years. I haven't checked lately, but I believe they spend about 10 minutes in medical school talking about the lymphatic system. And I know there's been a big push in the last 5 years to really change that, and really get more education out to the medical people, other than, oncologists who are more aware of it, but just your regular family doctor is probably spent about 10 minutes studying about the lymphatic system, even though it is the biggest part of our immune system. I have lymphedema in my lower extremities. My left leg presented lymphedema. In May, it will be 27 years. I was undiagnosed for 8 years. But this year's kind of a big year for me, Kathleen. I was 27 when my leg presented with lymphedema, and it's now been 27 years. So I've literally, in a couple of months, will have had lymphedema for half of my life. So it has been quite a journey. And I met you right when you were kind of coming into really studying lymphedema and really pursuing that. And you have now elevated to like a world renowned expert. You are out there writing books and writing articles and writing papers and writing studies. And yes, Kathleen Lisson is who the doctors listen to, who the medical, people listen to.
So some of them, yes. Vascular surgeons listen to me.
Yes. So it's been an honor to be a part of this journey and to be your friend. Like, not only are you my therapist and, the person I call when I'm really frustrated, but you're also like the expert. So I love that. So tell us all some of the really exciting things that you're doing right now in the lymphedema field.
Yep, I'm so excited because I wrote up an entire list of things, because Lymphedema Awareness Month is when we truly trying to like push the awareness out. So I actually started a few days early. At the end of last month, I was in the San Diego, the Caregiver Coalition of San Diego, which is our like public, private, government organization in San Diego County of different people who serve caregivers. So I did a 45-minute presentation. I only had 15 minutes. Oh, no. I took 45 minutes to talk all about the lymphatic system and really give people some of the tools they need to feel more comfortable and have some kind of basic ground level knowledge, because the caregiver is often the person with lymphedema in the situation. And then they are caring for their parents, they are caring for their spouse, and you have to sometimes care for the caregiver themselves. So giving that information to all kind of nonprofits that serve caregivers around San Diego was fantastic. Then I was a speaker at the UIP webinar. So this is the Worldwide Phlebology Group. They are having a conference, which I'm attending later this year in Buenos Aires, Argentina, our worldwide conference for UIP. So we got together and gave a lot of informative presentations on both lymphedema and lipedema. If anyone wants what is, in my opinion, the greatest short form little presentation on lipedema liposuction and what you should get and what the different ones are, that is in that webinar. And if you are following me on Facebook, I posted that link. And if you are not, find me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, and I will give you the link to that link, the link to that presentation, so you can see. I did commentary on one of the presentations about lymphedema, but that was a really great, we had a surgeon come in and do a really great presentation on lipedema liposuction. I was also pleased to attend learning, because I think it's very important to attend learning. So for Juzo Academy, I am giving a presentation later this week on Wednesday on ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, Inflammation and Chronic Disease. If you want the link, that is free to attend, and that's going to be Wednesday morning, a couple days from today. I went to the JOPES compression workshop, which is a live workshop with Gunter Close, and I took my CLT training through Close Training. And I was actually able to take one of my clients that I have that has pediatric lymphedema, and we got her measured, so she will get a garment. That was very, and I love advocating with her and her mother. And we were actually able to go to earlier this month to a CLT class. They were training new lymphedema therapists right outside of San Diego here. And I was able to take her, a child with primary lymphedema, and her mom to see these new CLTs to get them comfortable with treating pediatric lymphedema. And I think that is the final frontier for lymphedema therapists. So many of us have, we know about the upper limb, we know about the lower limb, we learned a little bit about head and neck lymphedema, we can kind of get by with it. But pediatrics, a lot of us are kind of like, we didn't learn this in CLT school, we're not sure, why can't you go to the specialist? And the CLTs, fellow CLTs, the specialists are us. If we are going to
tell us what a CLT is.
Certified lymphedema therapist. So if a lymphedema therapist has the training, we are the ones. I want to inspire you, and on the last day of this lymphedema therapy month, Lymphedema Awareness Month, to go ahead and get that training and open your practice to the pediatric client. So I was able to talk to the new CLTs, and then afterwards, we're all in a group with our little girl, and I looked around to everyone, and I was like, who feels like they want to learn how to help kids? And people were raising their hands and said, I hadn't even thought about it until now, but now, like, looking at her and seeing this, I want to add this to my practice. And I think it's so inspirational. I would love to be able to go, for someone locally to be able to go to every single CLT training with a pediatric lymphedema client and get everyone on board. So going forward, we're all open. Like, we've seen someone with pediatric lymphedema, and then that will give us, as lymphedema therapists, the interest and the passion to help this client segment. And then finally, I was so pleased to be involved in something from the Egyptian Venous Forum published an online textbook. It'll be in print later this year, Vascular Disorders in Children, and it talks about lymphedema. And I was pleased to be able to give a commentary on one of the chapters. And that is free PDF. If anybody who is a professional wants to get that from me, just email me and I will get that PDF to you. It's so important to get you the resources and get you the exposure so we can treat everyone with lymphedema, because you just have to know that lymphedema does not start the day people turn 18. And we can't only start people's lymphedema treatment the day they turn 18, because that is 18 years too late for a lot of people who should have that treatment from day one.
So I think, I was 27 when my leg presented lymphedema. And in case somebody doesn't know my story, my lymphedema was caused by a trauma to my leg, my hip. It presented itself first in my lower left leg. And since, in the last 27 years, it has progressed. Even though my lymphedema is very much under control at this point, it still has progressed. It originally progressed to my abdomen. And then about 5 years ago, you think, I called you crying. I was like, I'm sure I twisted my knee. It's not lymphedema. And you were like, Peggy, I hate to be the one to tell you, but yeah, it's anyway. So I have it on both legs now, which is really cool, because before, TSA would always stop me because I would have an imbalance weight. So now, like, every time I go through TSA, I'm like, oh, okay, they let me through. Before, they would always stop me because my left leg was so much bigger than my right leg. They thought I was hiding something in my left leg. I was a whole bunch of toxins.
I am. From so many doctors too. They don't know what it is either. You don't know what it is. They don't know what it is.
It's okay. But yeah, so it's there's that. I can go through TSA about 95% of the time without getting stopped, which is, it's odd. It's like, okay, I'm doing it. But yeah, so lymphedema, how it affects a person, because we've said all these things that, people should do and how we should treat it, but how it affects a person is, several different things. First of all, it obviously impacts your immune system, because it is slowing down your immune system. It impacts, because at one point, my left leg was 3 times the size of my right leg. I had to wear different size shoes. I could only wear big baggy pants because I couldn't get, jeans on, that would fit both legs. There's pain. And it's cute because doctors say there's no pain related to lymphedema, but a 3-year-old will see you and go, ooh, owie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. Because anything that's that swollen, of course, it's swollen. There's pressure, there's pain, there's nerve pain. In addition to that, different people have different things, fatigue, nerve pain, lots of different things that can be um, related to lymphedema, caused from lymphedema, whether it is technically a symptom of lymphedema. This is a lot of things that we go through. And then there's a psychological part of it. We all don't like it when people stare at us. Like, let's be honest, like that's not a comfortable thing. And to know that you've got this thing, like, I was dragging around this big old leg. Right now, you can't really tell. You can if you know what you're looking for, but me walking down the street, I don't stick out like I used to, because I do a lot of self-care, and I'm very, very, very passionate about being careful and taking care of myself. But there was a time that, people would stare at me, kids would stare at me, people would look, and, there's a lot of emotions with that. And there's a lot of emotions with the fact that I couldn't just go do things that I wanted to do. I don't wear cute shoes. I went to the Emmys, and I had a really pretty dress and a pair of Reeboks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot, it's not that I'm uncomfortable in them. I cannot wear, certain types of shoes because my feet will swell, even though I wear a compression garment, and it will be too painful in a matter of a few minutes that I just can't pull it off. So there's all those different things. What other things should I talk about that I haven't talked about as far as living with lymphedema?
The mornings. So I liked when we talked about that, and that has really helped me to better understand clients. And I think that's something that loved ones and caregivers need to understand. So I'm sharing that story as well. But the idea that if your husband wants to treat you and let you just like, let's just lie in bed and hold each other, like that, it screws up your entire rest of your day. And not only that, the husband should understand that that's like the self-care has to come first, but that's what people with lymphedema are living with. Like their morning self-care and the evening self-care are really non-negotiable. So it's not like they don't want to hang out with you. It's that like they have to take care of themselves first. And what someone thinks would pamper you is actually going to hinder you, because your health depends on you doing a certain number of things in the morning before a certain time, or else like the entire rest of the day you're playing catch up with your lymphatic system.
Yeah, and that's laying in bed is not a luxury that I get to do. Now I am at a point right now where I feel very fortunate. I do not sleep in a compression garment. I do have night garments that, if I am having a flare up or having problems, that I do use, but the majority of the time right now I don't. But I also I wake up in the morning. My husband and I meditate, we do our morning thing, and then I go straight into the shower. I go straight on my chi machine.
Mm-hmm.
My chi machine, it moves my legs, and it helps, move the lymphatic fluids around. And then I do a full body lymphatic self massage. And that takes time because I start at my head, I go down, I work my leg, I clear again, I work my leg again, my legs again. So, my morning routine is usually about 2 hours, and it can be more if I'm having a flare up and I'm having to do, more things. So from the time I wake up until the time I'm actually ready to go do something is a minimum of 2 hours. So after I do the massage, then I immediately, before I get up off the floor, I put my compression garment on.
Mm-hmm.
I wear a custom made Juzo compression. I've been wearing Juzo for many, many years. I love Juzo. They're, for me, the most comfortable. And I like the silver line because it actually has silver in it, which helps, skin irritation and things like that. But I wear a toe cap and it goes around each toe. And then I have a garment which is open, it slides over and it goes all the way up around my torso. My old one before my lymphedema progressed to both legs would just like anchor on my right leg, my thigh. But now I wear a compression garment on both legs, so it's like a pantyhose. My toe cap goes around each toe, and then the garment goes up and around my abdomen, and like a heavy pantyhose. And that's something I wear every single day. I don't get up and walk around. I shower and lay down on the machine, do everything. And then that garment goes on, and I don't do anything without that garment on. There's no exceptions. I want to go to the beach, I'm wearing a garment. I want to go, no matter where I am, that garment is on if I am up walking around. If I want to go downstairs and, do laundry or switch something, I don't do that unless I'm wearing a garment. I literally shower and garment. And then at night, it's the same thing. That garment comes off, I go straight into bed. There's no, if I have to get up and go, run around, the kids are home or something, I put a garment back on, because otherwise I will immediately start swelling. And then you're playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got pain, and then you've got, you're not feeling good, and there's the fatigue, and there's, everything else that comes with that. If I don't stay on top of things, then, and so that's where, I think a long time ago, is I was telling you, like, my husband, when we first got together, you're like, let's just stay in bed for the morning. And I'm like, well, I have to go shower and do my leg, and then I could come back to bed, and he was like, no, the point is we relax. And, he had to understand that I can't.
Yeah.
That's an absolute no-go for me, because then I would start swelling, and, then it would be a nightmare to get that swelling back down.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that, traveling is, always a challenge, because you're setting more, or, the altitude change if you're flying, and, diet is a big deal. I always make, there's certain foods that will cause flare up. So I'm always, every single decision that I make in my life is, how is this going to affect my legs? How is this going to affect the lymphedema? Now, the flip side of that is, because I am so strict, I do feel like I live a pretty normal life. I do get to do a lot of things. I was having a terrible flare up. I had COVID 2 years ago. And after I had COVID, like, I just could not get out of this flare up. And I called you crying. I can't do this anymore. Nothing's working, because, I think if you have lymphedema, you have this whole toolbar of tricks, like this whole toolkit of tricks. Like, well, if I do this, if I do that, this will kind of get my system working. And none of the old tricks were working. And so you had a heart to heart with me, and suggested something. And I was like, I don't know about this. But it turned out that it's been very helpful. So October 1st of 2024, I started the Mounjaro shots. And when you first talked to me about it, I was like, well, I do need to lose weight, because with this flare up and with lymphedema, that's something else we didn't talk about. Like, your lymphatic system's what washes out the extra fats. So it's also, weight is tricky. it's not as easy as one would hope. But I was in so much pain before I started these. I was walking with a cane around the house. I was having problems standing up, sitting down, getting in and out of the car. using a public bathroom was, nothing to hold on to, was, terrifying, because I was in so much pain. And you told me to try this. And for me, it's been an amazing journey. The pain, I would say within the first month, within the first couple of weeks, I really saw a big difference in the pain, because those shots target inflammation. And they target things. They're being researched for not just if you have diabetes, but they're being researched for a lot of things, because inflammation causes our organs not to work properly, and it causes all of these other things. So yeah, I've lost 43 pounds. It's not bad. And the amount of pain that I am not in is incredible. I did try a few weeks ago to lower my dose. I was like, maybe I can. And I kind of had some pain, and I was like, I'm not going to lower it yet. I'm going to just stick with the plan for a while, and keep with it. But I know we've done a couple of videos really going into detail about that. You and me haven't talked for a while. Do you have any questions for me about that?
Did you talk to your kidney person?
I did. So I also have kidney disease. News alert, guys. If anybody tells you that you can just take all the ibuprofen you want, probably not a great idea. A lot of times when you have lymphedema and you're having pain, doctors will tell you, well, just take ibuprofen. Apparently, that's not a good idea. So I do have a kidney doctor that I see every 4 months. And when I took my first shot before I told my kidney doctor I was going to do this, because I was just like, and I was like, so I'm doing this thing. And I was so scared he was going to say no. And he was like, oh, good. Interesting, because they're doing studies and they actually believe that the Mounjaro may be able to help kidney function increase. And I was like, oh. He's like, so I'm interested in, following this. Don't get dehydrated, because, this does slow down your metabolism. It slows down your ability to eat a lot or drink a lot at one time. So it was like, make sure you're always drinking, which I am always careful to stay hydrated anyway. And so I have seen him twice since I've been on these shots, and things are looking good. He is very happy. He is not, he's thrilled, because he does not like my lymphedema. My kidney doctor is more concerned about my lymphedema than any of my doctors.
Yeah.
My kidney doctor, like every single time I go, he does not like that my legs are swollen. He's like, oh.
Why?
And I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and smiling ear to ear, he was like touching my legs, and he was like, so this is working, and you're not in pain, and I'm so excited. And I was like, and how are my kidneys doing? He's like, yeah, but you're not in pain, and your legs are swelling, the swelling's going down. And I was like, yeah, so how are my kidneys? Because he was so interested in how good the lymphedema was looking, that he wasn't talking to my kidneys. But then he was like, oh no, your kidneys are really good, but I'm so impressed that the swelling's down in your legs. Yeah. So that was fun. That was kind of, silly fun, but yeah, it was good.
Yep. Yep. And I'm always science-based. And I think everyone should be science-based too. There's a great resource from the Lymphatic Education and Research Network. They have online symposiums. And if you look on their YouTube page, you look at their website, a couple months ago, they did an online symposium with Dr. Surgeon talking about GLP-1 and lymphedema. So she's on a GLP-1 agonist. It was not given by me. It was given by a doctor. So I don't give out GLP-1 agonists, but I gave her a referral that I thought this might be something that she could explore. So she did explore with the doctor who prescribed it to her. And if you want to do your research on that, this LE&RN symposium is a really good place to start.
And since I have been on this and being more aware of it, I am seeing a lot of the studies, and it is making a big difference for a lot of people. So the downside is I'm having to pay for it out of pocket. Insurance, of course, with most things lymphedema, insurance does not care. So yeah, but right now, it has been definitely a game changer.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to say one thing, or just want people to know one thing, is that if you have lymphedema, or if your loved one, a family member or a loved one, has lymphedema, self-care is still the number one thing. Self-care and compression garments, if nothing else, that you really have to advocate for yourself. You really have to take care of yourself. If you're lucky enough to live in Southern California, and can have an amazing lymphedema therapist to go see from time to time. But I don't see Kathleen regularly. I see Kathleen in emergency situations, and the rest of the time I'm doing my own self-care every day,
Yeah.
Because you are ultimately your own advocate, and you have to really do a lot. You have to do it. And I know a lot of people that have lymphedema are not as mobile as I am. They're having a lot of mobility issues, and it's hard. It's hard to put a garment on every day. It's not like putting pantyhose on. It's like putting a really tight pantyhose on that's thick. And it's not fun when it's hot and you're sweaty, and it's clinging to your skin, and like but even though it's not fun, it still allows me to live what I call a normal life. It still allows me to go out and do things. So it is what I have to do in order to live and not be bedridden, and not be in a wheelchair, and heaven forbid not be an amputee, because that was also a conversation that I had with my doctors about 15 years ago, before I was able to get this under control. So there's a lot of things that I could have gone down different paths. And yes, I do spend a lot of time on self-care, but also I spend a lot of time doing life.
Absolutely. Well said. And my one thing for lymphedema awareness, if I'm the cranky lymphedema therapist, is like, don't stare at people garments. Do not stare. If someone has a garment, it goes for so much more than lymphedema. If someone has cancer and doesn't have hair and they have a hat on, like, don't stare. Don't ask them questions. Unless you have been invited to their house for dinner, you do not ask them medical questions about their bodies. That's it. Unless you're like a member of the family, you've been invited over to their house for dinner, like that you have a close relationship with somebody. And I think we kind of, in our urge to like, oh, I'm a sweet, kind, loving person, but it's the sweet, kind, loving people that I'm talking directly to today. Because the stranger on the street that doesn't care one way or the other, they are looking at their phone, they're not looking at the garment, and they're not asking these intrusive, prying questions. You are not the first person. You will not be the last person to see that person's garment. They do not need to tell you how they're doing. And I know you are sitting there and saying, I'm thinking about it from the bottom of my heart. I'm just such a loving person. I get it. They don't need you to tell them that you're concerned about them, that you want to know how they are. None of that. Just like, let them be themselves in the moment, not thinking about their cancer diagnosis, not thinking about their lymphedema, and just love them without having to make a point of their garment and you're talking about it and bringing it up as a topic. Because from my client that was 6 to my client that is 70, both of them are not thrilled about wearing the garments because of the treatment that they get when they go outside of their house from people in their community. And if we could just get that message across to people in Lymphedema Awareness Month and each and every month, that if someone has any kind of cast, bandage thing going on, like just look them in the eye and make conversation with them and treat them like it's just a normal day. Because no one needs to tell you about their garment, and no one really wants to hear that you're so concerned about them if they have an ongoing chronic disease that we all know is happening.
I didn't expect you to say that. And
so crazy.
I have, again, 27 years of people staring at me. So, I will make a joke. I will laugh. I will do. But honestly, it would be awesome if people just saw me for all of the things that I was besides my chronic illness.
Yep.
Kathleen, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.
For
Lymphedema
ending
Awareness Month, make people less aware that you see their lymphedema.
Yes. But yeah, be aware and know that people are all going through their things, and you letting us know that you care about us is sometimes not pointing it out, because some of us had a hard time getting up this morning, and some of us had a hard time going to that event that you saw us at, because we know we look weird. We know what our garment looks like. We see it every single day. Thank you so much, Kathleen.
Have a good day.
That was not supposed to happen, and I don't know how to stop it. I love technology.